Hey YouTube, this is a quick video to compare the Sony Z1Rs and the Sennheiser HD820s. So I'll provide a summary here in the beginning and say that I've decided to keep the Sennheiser HD820s and send back the Sony Z1Rs, which makes me a bit sad because these Sonys are really amazing. The bass that they produce is, for lack of a better term, amazing from a headphone. I didn't know you could get such bass, enjoyable bass from a headphone. Um, what I've come to realize though is that for long listening sessions, say over 30 minutes or an hour, more than that, more than an hour, I prefer listening with the Sennheisers. So if I'm just sitting here at my desk working, I've found that I can put the Sennheisers on and they kind of disappear until something comes on, a passage or a piece of music or something that really moves me, and I can focus in for that time, maybe turn the volume up and really enjoy it. And then, once that's done, I'll turn it back down and I'll go back to focusing on work. Whereas with the Sonys, I find that the elevated bass on them, while it's super fun, it's I don't know, I never thought I would say this because I'm kind of a bass head, but it kind of gets played out. It's the elevated bass kind of gets old to me after a little while, and I don't know if that's just me getting older or what, but I seem to prefer the more balanced frequency response of the HD820s. And I say balanced. I think a lot of that has to do with my source equipment and cable connections and all that. Because an interesting thing that I wanted to share was when I connect the Sens, which come with three different cable options. They send you one point, no, this one is the balanced 4.4 millimeter. They send you an XLR, 4-pin XLR, which is connected to my Jotunheim. And then if I can find it, they also send you a regular quarter inch, old school quarter inch. When I connect the quarter inch to the Jotunheim, it's a good listening experience. But when I connect the XLR to the Jotunheim, it's an amazing listening experience. But keep in mind that my Jotunheim is connected with RCAs down to my PS Audio direct stream DAC that's mounted under my desk here. The point I wanted to make though was that I brought my PS Audio Direct Stream Junior in from another room, and people in the PS Audio forums would generally say that the difference between the junior and the senior is about 10 to 15%. So not a major difference, but there is some difference. It's hard to describe, but I think the senior's bass goes a little bit lower. It's a little darker background. It's a little richer, fuller sound. And when I use this junior, which is essentially the same DAC or almost the same DAC, connected to the Jotunheim, same cables, it's almost the HD100s or 820, sorry, HD820s are almost too sibilant. There's almost a little bit too much accentuation on the treble, which I thought was interesting because when I run my Jotunheim balanced DAC and my Jotunheim multi-pit DAC, the multi-pit DAC actually doesn't do too bad. It's actually a pretty enjoyable sound with the 820s. Now, mind you, it's not as good as the direct stream connected, but it's not bad. It's actually a decent sound. So anyways, I just thought it was kind of interesting that the small difference in the DAC made all the difference in the world to me in terms of my level of enjoyment. Had I not had these different components connected to each other, I may have made a different choice here. Because the Sony seem to be a little bit less sensitive to what source you connect them to. They definitely do respond differently to different source components. But generally speaking, you're just going to get great bass and pretty decent mid-range and highs that are detailed but not fatiguing, which I thought was something that what I kind of was after. I thought this was going to check all my boxes, and I more so just got the HD820s to compare. But after a lengthy time of listening, I've come to learn that I actually prefer the HD820s. Another thing I want to mention was I have a PS Audio BHK preamp here under my desk, and when I try to connect the Sony's to my BHK, that jack there runs really hot. There's a lot of juice coming out of there. It's not a good pairing. The Sony's, you hear the noise floor. There's it just not a good pairing. I don't hear any noise floor on these less sensitive Sennheisers. But with that said, again, when I run the Sennheiser's quarter inch off the PS Audio BHK, it's the magic isn't there. It's only when I run the direct stream DAC, RCAs to the Jotunheim, and then XLR out that the magic is there. So anyways, I think that was, I did also want to just share kind of background so people understand where I'm coming from with other, prior equipment. But I would say up until this point, my favorite headphone of all time has been the Sennheiser HD600s. I've had those probably 10 to 15 years, and then I also have some HD650s, but I don't enjoy the 650s as much as I do the 600s. And I think, people go either way. Some people prefer the 600s, which I think like Zeos and a couple other big channel YouTubers out there, they prefer the 600s, whereas others prefer the 650s. For me, I prefer the 600s. But I've also used some Focal, I think these are called Allegias. Really nice headphone, but terrible cable. I mean, the cable that Focal provides with this thing to me it's way too short, unless you're going to use it in a mobile application, but it's very microphonic. If this cable rubs against your clothing, you hear it in the ear cups, and that's irritating to me. What was surprising to me is how much I liked these Fostex something 610. I don't remember the exact model number, but super comfortable, really balanced sound, and it works with just about any source that I connected it to. Aside from maybe again the BHK preamp probably is a little bit too much power for it, because you hear some noise floor. Back here are my favorite mobile headphones, some Sennheiser HD 598s. So anyways, that was a little bit of background on other headphones, just so that folks know where I'm coming from. Again, really sad that I don't have the budget to keep both of these, because the Sonys are amazing. I really wish I could keep both, but I can't. So I'm going to be sending these back and sticking with HD820s. I think that was about it. Let me know if there's any questions, and I'll do my best to answer in the comment section. Thanks.